This situation just got crazier. Devils forced to work with the cap right now, not in a great situation. So don't expect these rumors to go nowhere. Implications here, let's talk about it. Welcome to Devils Digest. Glad you're joining us here today. Hope you'll be around for the summer and hit the subscribe button to talk more Devils hockey as we continue into the off season. So we knew coming into this offseason, Tom Fitzgerald told us we were going to have a different team. They wanted to look a little bit different. They wanted to get a little bit better. They weren't good enough last year. I think a lot of us knew or thought that, a top six forward would be coming in. Tom Fitzgerald sounds like he's still working on that. Bottom six, he definitely put some, things into there. Connor Brown, Evgeny Dadonov. He took care of the backup goaltending situation. Jake Allen on a 5-year deal, $1.8 million. Defense kind of felt set. Almost felt like they had a little bit too many. You look, they've drafted, recently Simon Nemec, Antoine Siliev, Luke Hughes in 2021. They put some draft picks into defense. They just signed Brett Pesce to a long contract. They've found ways to build out their defense, and at some point, you just get too many. There's just too many defensemen to go around for ice time. We looked at Simon Nemec this year, struggled to break the lineup. Seamus Casey started off really well, found his way out of the lineup. Not necessarily a bad problem to have, but when you're in a league where, there is a salary cap, you got to figure out what's most important to you. What works the best? What way are we trending? Do we want to go younger? Do we want to keep, our already established defensemen? What works for us? So, obviously, when you're in a position like that, people are going to speculate. People are going to wonder where the Devils could be going. And the Devils, with these defensemen, they have some good ones. And, one of the ones who seems to kind of keep breaking out into rumors, and, we're seeing it a lot this summer, and don't expect it to go away. Dougie Hamilton, Frank Saravalli. I do think the Devils have explored the market for Dougie Hamilton. I don't think they're intentioned or set on trading him. So, when you look at Dougie Hamilton, we all remember, I assume most of you guys watching right now were pretty pumped when the Devils signed Dougie Hamilton. It was arguably the biggest free agent signing in Devils history. The number one player in free agency picked New Jersey, signed a long-term deal with New Jersey, 7 years, $63 million. It was something that kind of felt like the Devils were coming out of, that rebuild, kind of finding their way into being a contending playoff team. It looked really good for the Devils. They had just drafted Luke Hughes. Now they're bringing in Dougie Hamilton. They've been building a young, good team for a little bit now. It felt like they're in that transition phase. You get the top guy, Dougie Hamilton, and you bring him to New Jersey. Well, you fast forward 2025, and all of a sudden what you're looking at is, we did draft a lot of young players, a lot of young good players, a lot of players who, need contracts, who need the playing time, who are ready to take that next step. So when you get to that position, all of a sudden, you got to look at what's expendable. You have your salary cap. You don't have a ton of cap room. You need to find a top six forward. You've drafted 3 defensemen in the first round in the top 10 in the past 5 seasons. You start to look at, we need to improve other places because we already took care of it earlier on by drafting those 3 defensemen in the top 10. Now we need to go figure out our offense. So what could make sense? Well, you look at a player who, was a top defenseman, is still considered a number 1 defenseman, who has a $9 million cap hit. A $9 million cap hit when you need top 6 forwards, you need top 6 wingers, starts to look a little bit more like something you could trade for the Devils. And this was his first offseason where it became a 10-team trade list. You go ahead and look at the defense. They're already, they already have a little bit too much. This isn't even showing Johnathan Kovacevic or Seamus Casey. They already have too many defensemen. The right side is pretty packed. So when you look at that for New Jersey and you know what this defense looks like and how much cap room they have and what they still need to add. Dougie Hamilton, probably the most expendable and has still a lot of value. Luke Hughes needs a contract extension. They have Antoine Siliev. They have Seamus Casey. Johnathan Kovacevic will join the team as soon as, he's no longer injured. So when you look at all those things, you do look to Dougie Hamilton and his $9 million cap hit. I mean, he's older. He's, 33 now. He's dealt with injury since coming to New Jersey. 3 out of the 4 seasons, Dougie Hamilton has dealt with an injury. And now the 1 year he did stay healthy, he clearly had his best year, arguably the best year of his career. 22 goals, 52 assists, 74 points. It looked like a Norris Trophy type defenseman. Was clearly a number 1 defenseman. And I still think that there are teams out there who view him as that. Who view him as, hey, if we can get him back here, we can turn him into that, 70-point player, 20-goal scorer. And you know what? Maybe the value is a little bit lower than, if New Jersey moved off of him after that season, or if he had, replicated that year the following year, but then he got hurt. They probably look at it where, we can get him a little bit cheaper. Now, the other thing I've seen with, Devil fans and just fans in general is saying that, we'll attach this pick, you just take on the salary. No, Dougie Hamilton still has value. This isn't something where you have to go and attach a pick and just get somebody to take on Dougie Hamilton. No, he's still a good player. He's still looked at as a number 1 defenseman in the league. Those are not the type of players where, you're just sending off to create cap space. Yes, are you doing both simultaneously by getting yourself cap space to go get a top 6 winger? You are, but it's not something where you just, you force out with a pick attached to it. I mean, he was signed for 7 years, $9 million per year for a reason. He's still a valuable player, still a good player. 10-team trade list, don't know who's on that list, but I'm sure there are definitely, clearly from the rumors, teams that are calling the Devils. Teams that want to know what Dougie Hamilton, what will it take to get Dougie Hamilton? Teams are still going to pay for Dougie Hamilton. This isn't something where the Devils are just, going to start unloading prospects or picks. No. He's still a number 1 defenseman. Just you look at the Devils situation, they definitely need a little bit more offense. Luke Hughes looked like he could take over that number 1 power play, number 1 defenseman role. Simone Nemec, wants a full-time role. You just signed Brett Pesce. So Hamilton becomes more expendable now that with his 10-team trade list and the situation the Devils are in. Now, does he get traded before the year starts? I'd find that hard to believe that, they move off of Dougie Hamilton. I still think he adds value to the Devils, even if he's not the number 1 power play defenseman. There's still something there. So, to move him before the year starts, I mean, they'd have to figure out how they can fix out that top 6 winger role. Do they need to create the cap space? Do they need to move off Dougie Hamilton to create that cap space? So I don't see Dougie Hamilton being moved off this offseason. But, I mean, hey, the rumors are out there, and Tom Fitzgerald knows that he needs to get a top 6 winger. So definitely something to look at for the rest of the summer. Hopefully hit the subscribe button and join us this summer talking all Devils hockey. Throw some mock trades for Dougie Hamilton down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you want to move on from Hamilton, or do you think he still has value for this team? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys all really soon.